Hello and welcome everybody, I'm the Rambling Director, and today we are looking at Wishbone.
What's the story, Wishbone? What's this you're dreaming of?
If you don't know, Wishbone was a series that I actually grew up with in the late 90s, and it's just a cute little show about a Jack Russell Terrier who tells us great literary classics and relates them to the story of three modern children's lives. He did some great episodes. In fact, he had a great episode on Phantom of the Opera, which has a little Easter egg in my Phantom movie. Today, however, since everybody has been ransacking my YouTube channel to demand I cover more Time Machine material, we're going to talk about Wishbone's episode of The Time Machine, where he reads and talks about H.G. Wells' classic novel, and of course plays the main character in doggy form.
He's quite brilliant. And of course, good looking. The hero is the Time Traveler.
Like with pretty much every episode of Wishbone, they start off with Wishbone himself, kind of introducing the character, who always talks in voiceover. He's voiced by a comedian named Larry Brantley. And I gotta say, I've always thought this guy was an untapped gold mine. I never understood why he wasn't a bigger name, because he's really funny. His delivery single-handedly makes a lot of these jokes work.
Hold on a second. Let's see now. 3 snaps a day and 7 days in a week. That's 3 snaps times 7, which equals 21 snaps. And there are 22 snaps in each box. What's happening to that extra snap? Ellen! And to think I trusted you!
Joe, the main human boy who lives with Wishbone, is experiencing some difficulty in class. And when his friend gives him a calculator, he decides, now that he has this machine to do the work for him, he will be able to excel in math class like never before. I do think it's really funny that calculators, there was a time when calculators were considered like a luxury, and this kid's like, I don't have a calculator, and the other kid's like, don't worry, buddy, I have 2, you can have one. It's just really funny to me. Now, what I really like about this episode when it comes to the modern elements, the stuff that they're relating to the kids' lives, a lot of shows at this time period when they would cover this sort of subject would just kind of make it seem like the machine was an enemy. But I really like that the calculator is treated as a good thing. It is important, it's helpful, but that you actually have to learn how to do math in order to use it. That being said, it's amazing to me how much more bearable these modern sequences were when I was a kid, because now a lot of them seem a bit superfluous. The one thing I can say that really does keep me watching, especially now that my kid is super into Wishbone and I can't escape the bloody thing, is that Larry Brantley's delivery of these lines as Wishbone, whenever he's making snarky comments about the kids, is surprisingly modern humor. It's almost sometimes like he's making fun of the show.
So that's $10 plus tip. What's 15%?
Come on, buddy. A dog could figure this one out.
15 cents.
No.
Pretty much every episode of Wishbone, I think, has one moment that is funny, if nothing else, and it's where Wishbone tries to transition into telling the story. Some of the segues he uses are just hilariously tenuous.
Can this little machine really send Joe into the future? Can it really solve all of his problems? Only time will tell. In 1895, H.G. Wells sent readers into the future with the science fiction classic, The Time Machine.
Yeah, a machine, and time will eventually pass. Machine, time machine! Gosh, I just love Wishbone. There's a reason it was one of my favorite shows growing up. They do a pretty good job of summing up the H.G. Wells novel here. They start off with the time traveler character talking to his friends about the 4th dimension, and he climbs aboard this little time machine, which is doggy size. Adorable. Now, unlike any of the movie adaptations, and it might actually make this the most accurate adaptation of the time machine ever, he just pops right ahead into the year 802,701. The Sunshine People do actually look like they might have been referencing the George Powell movie. We see a lot more of H.G. Wells' original social message left really intact in this version. The Eloi are simply beautiful, stupid people. Weena is particularly annoying. My gosh, this woman.
Maybe it's something in the water they drink. Who are you?
I am Weena. You are man.
I'm convinced it's something in the water.
There's a lot of time in this episode where I'm just hoping Wishbone bites her. They go to the Porcelain Palace to see some of mankind's great accomplishments, and oh, look at that thing. Oh my gosh. The time traveler discovers that the Morlocks are scared by the fire. Another little element that I like is that the wells are represented like actual wells, like they are in the George Pal movie, where they're like kind of abstract and you get the idea that they were part of the bomb shelter entrances at some point. No, this is just like literally a decorative well in the middle of a park. The time traveler and Weena run through the forest with the lit torch. Now, in the book, they actually end up lighting the forest on fire and Weena dies in the blaze, or at the very least, she's gone. We assume she's dead. In this, she survives because it is a kid's show, and we don't want to get too harsh. Gotta save that for the Joan of Arc episode. Weena gives the time traveler a flower, which is a pom-pom with a pipe cleaner on it. Gosh, that's so funny. He goes back into the Sphinx, where he finds his machine, and he's able to escape back into the past. And we get a nice little summing up of the story, how he returned, but he soon left again, leaving behind the flower. Well, we don't get to hear much about Philby or any of that, because, we have to sum a lot of this up to fit a 22-minute runtime. And we find out that Joe, when he loses his calculator, doesn't do so hot on his test. But it's okay, he ends up going and helping with a yard sale, and that helps him master fractions, because in a real-life situation with a lot of high pressure, he has to do it. He has to learn to do it, and learn to do it on paper, because he doesn't have a calculator to help. So once he learns to do it, he comes back and he realizes, yeah, now that I know how to do the math, the calculator will help it go faster, but I had to learn the process and actually respect the machine I was using. It's a nice little message, and we get this fun little stinger from Wishbone at the end.
And, speaking of calculators... Hey, Joe, lose something? Between you and me, I had it hidden the whole time. The kid needed to learn the hard way.
I love Wishbone in general. I have since I was a kid. But I specifically love this episode. I think it does a pretty good job of summing up the main elements of the story. It's funny. It's interesting. Seeing this little dog run around in a tuxedo is really cute. And it relates it to kids' lives in a really practical and fun way. More kids might be willing to read the classics if we had the Wishbone approach and kind of related it back to their modern lives in some way. I think the show just made a really good effort to do that, and I mean, it stuck with me into my 30s now, and now that my kid wants to watch Wishbone, I'm kind of pumped. I'm really enjoying rewatching this series. You guys were asking for time machine material, so there it is. Wishbone, Bark to the Future. Bark to the Future, my gosh. Thank you everybody for watching. God bless you, and I will see you in the next one.